Good evening, graduates, parents, friends, mentors, comforters. This really is about you, and what I want to do very briefly tonight, and I'll be very quick, is just share my heart with you about what I believe about you, that you are built for something more, and that what you can dream, you can achieve. Each of us at one point or another will begin to look to the future. We will ask ourselves, what's next? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And then the last question, how am I going to get there? And when I was your age, about 18 years old, and some of us are coming back for another education as adults, I understand that. But my mom asked me when I was sitting exactly where you all are, Lucas, what's next? What do you want to be? And how are you going to get there? And that is the question I would pose to you all tonight. What's next? What do you want to be? And how will you get there? I had these same types of thoughts, and I came up with 3 things that I wanted to accomplish at age 18. I wanted to work at the White House because it looked pretty cool. And it was in the 90s when I grew up, and the Bulls were amazing. They were the dynasty of the time, and Michael Jordan was my hero. And in 1997, this movie came out called Air Force One. That's a really cool plane. 747 jumbo jet, can fly halfway around the world without refueling, can hold about 100 people. You could run a war from that plane. And that's the plane that President Barack Obama flies on today. There are 2 identical ones. And so I told my mom, that's a pretty cool plane. I'd like to fly on it. And I told her, Mom, I'm 5'7" on a good day, so I know I will never be Dwight Howard or Kobe Bryant, or for you Boston fans out there, Paul Pierce. But I want to work for an NBA team. And of course, in life, there are always naysayers and people that pull you down. There were people that said that I couldn't do it, even some family and friends. After all, my story is a little bit difficult. I had to go through some stuff. I have a birth mother who took lots of drugs and was addicted to alcohol and drank and did drugs even until she was about 3 months pregnant with me, which caused me to be born about 8 weeks premature, weighing about 3.5 pounds. No clue who my father is, and so I was an orphan from the start of life. Sent to a foster care home to a wonderful person by the name of Dorothy Boyce, who later became my adopted mother. She knew my struggles. She knew what I had gone through. After all, when I was sitting where you guys are, if you rewind about 8-10 years when I was in kindergarten, because of all the drugs and things that my mother did, I flunked. My mom sat me down and she told me 2 things that I want to share with you all. These are her 2 successes for life. She said, Lucas, this doesn't have to be the end, it can be the beginning. And that you can do anything that you put your mind to if you're willing to work harder than anybody else and study longer than anybody else. And Lucas, she said, and I will offer to you, she said that in order to be successful, you must remember who you are and who you represent. For me, that means that I represent a creator, that I'm not my own. I represent somebody who protected me even when I was in my mother's womb. And she said, for me, and I offer to you, that if you will remember who you are and who you represent, there isn't anything that you cannot accomplish. There is nothing. And so there were naysayers that sought to remind me of the past and of the obstacles. And there will always be naysayers. But I took what my mother told me to heart, and I kept plugging along. And when I stood where you were, while I flunked kindergarten, I graduated valedictorian of my high school class. And I went on to college, and I studied harder than everybody else. And then 9/11 happened. And I followed my dreams. The flip side of the story is that some men see things as they are and they ask why. Others dream things that can be and they ask why not. Some will see the obstacles, whether it's going back to school and getting a GED or going back to school for another degree as a nurse or in digital education. Some people will see the obstacles and see a mountain too high to climb. Some will see an ocean too wide to cross or a valley too deep to traverse. But then there are those, according to Robert F. Kennedy, who will see things as they can be and ask why not. And I decided to ask why not. And I'm asking you tonight to ask why not. This is me in the Oval Office with the former president right before he left office, presenting him a Orlando Magic jersey, personally made for him. This is me on Air Force One, accomplishing that goal. And I like to wear visors a lot, so that's why. And then this is me this year, standing at Amway Arena at Center Court, watching one of our Magic Maker presentations. I share this with you because it doesn't matter what the obstacles are. It doesn't matter what the circumstances of life are if you are willing to work harder than anybody else, study longer than anybody else, and remember who you are and who you represent. I close by encouraging you to dream big and believe that you were built for something more. There will be failures, and life has two rules. Number one, never quit. Number two, always remember rule number one. And as my dear friend Michael Jordan says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, and I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I was entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Always ask, not why, but why not? And I'll leave you with these words. History stands at the door, calls us to lead and reach for something more. Generations unborn will read about our day, and our witness will echo as the torch is passed. Will history record we accomplished our task? Now is the time, and this is the place, to build up character, to be guided by grace. History's call is to lead from the front and not the back, without concern for the obstacles or the strengths we might lack. This generation is built for something more, to overcome each obstacle within our very core, to serve others and be joyful in the midst of a world's hectic pace. You were built to rise and to live between mercy and grace, regardless of the circumstance, and above it all, to rise each time you stumble and to get up each time you fall. Built to be unbroken, undaunted, head and heart unbowed. Your call is to be different from the others and to rise above the crowd. You were built to win, to be champions in public and private life, built to serve and give with all of your heart and with all of your might. This is the call. This is the plea, that you take the torch and begin today and lead. There isn't time to wait. There isn't time to waste, because now is the time, and this is the place. Thank you.